Disclaimer, the views expressed in this cartoon are not necessarily my own. I do not in any way promote or endorse any of the illegal activities or moral atrocities described in this video. Do not attempt to follow any of the satirical advice you see in this animation. It will most certainly end in arrest or death. This cartoon was created purely for entertainment purposes. Asfuck is a character. He doesn't represent me unless explicitly stated in the video. He most certainly does not represent me here. It's called dark comedy. Don't get it twisted. Some people say that the difference between a religion and a cult is that a cult is run by a crazy sociopath who enforces his will upon others, typically with immoral methods. In a religion, that person's dead. Today, folks, we're going to attempt to start a cult. Step 1. Create your brand. The most important thing for an upcoming cult leader is image. If you're gonna run a cult, you gotta look the part. That means the American Horror Story cult leader's haircut and a permanent crazed look in your eyes. Make sure to speak only in vague pseudoscientific language that sounds way more advanced than it actually is. That way, no one can actually disprove anything you're saying, because you're not saying much of anything at all. When asked questions, answer in a way that reveals basically nothing by throwing out a bunch of random buzzwords such as energy, innovation, ascension, aura, synergy, and of course, enlightenment. Step 2. Establish a following. The internet has no shortage of impressionable idiots. Offer them salvation from whatever they're paranoid about. Oftentimes, it doesn't even exist in the first place, so that should be fairly easy. Once you tell your new mentally unhinged friend that you've murdered the invisible boogeyman, it's only a matter of time before they become paranoid about something equally as stupid. You have to make sure you control what that stupid something is. You remember our talk about the lizard people, right?
Damn reptoids. Always using their psychic powers on me. Making me spend all my money on crack?
Right, of course. Well, our scientists have recently discovered something disturbing that we thought you should know about. Inform your followers that a new enemy is gearing up to attack them personally, and the only way they can be safe is getting the protection they so desperately need by joining your organization. After you get a few followers, begin instructing them to act kind to new recruits and entice them the same way you entice said follower in the first place. While this might make them question you, just remember your vague, overcomplicated language skills, and give them the tried and true saying, "We're only lying to protect them," which is also itself a lie. Step 3. Instill ideologies. For your cult to be able to recruit people and also be a force that only responds to your domineering will with complete and total obedience, you need to have two separate ideologies: the beginner ideology and the advanced ideology. The beginner ideology should be filled with generalized, vague hippie bullshit, the typical love everyone because we are all connected type stuff. After they've accepted your ideology, you can begin the brainwashing process. Make sure to treat learning the advanced ideology like a reward, and say that only the holiest may learn the advanced scripture. This will make lower ranking people in the cult want to learn it, and some may actually go through brainwashing voluntarily. While cults shouldn't care if the brainwashing is voluntary, it does make it a whole lot easier. Isolate them and lock them in a cold, tiny room with only your advanced ideology literature as reading material. Blast non-stop religious propaganda from a speaker in the room, and make sure to only give them the minimal amount of food to keep them alive. If you want to speed up the process, some cults blast people with hoses or shock them. Eventually, they should be a hollow shell of the individual that they once were and live only to serve the purpose of the cult. Fantastic! The advanced ideology should first and foremost say that God says that anyone who disobeys your will most certainly die and burn in your religion's version of hell for all eternity. That can't be the only thing it says though, or even these mush-brained freak shows will know something's up. If you're gonna have these batshit people believe your batshit story, it's gotta be really out there. I'm talking a Bible filled with the rantings of a lunatic, a nonsensical alien god, people with psychic abilities, ridiculous ideas about the afterlife, a religious symbol that looks suspiciously like a dick, and of course you as the glorious Messiah. Step 4. Enforce your will. Now that you have a cult full of brainwashed idiots, you can use it for whatever you want to do. You could throw the town into anarchy, have sex with your followers, do MK Ultra style experiments on them, even demand a fast food restaurant bring back a sauce from an old movie promotion.
I want Szechuan sauce! Where's my Szechuan sauce?
Do whatever the hell you want, I don't fucking care. Step 5. Ascend. The authorities will most likely take notice of your cult soon. Because of this, depending on what you've done in your cult, they will most likely put you in prison for life or execute you. You all know where this is going. Make some fruit punch and spike it with cyanide and hallucinogenic drugs. Instruct your followers to drink the holy brew. From here, we have two options, because I'm definitely not dying with these dumb fucks. You could either deal with the law and face prison time and possibly the death sentence, or go on the run and escape to a country with no extradition treaty with the United States. Congratulations! If you followed this advice, you're a dead homeless man in the streets of Wuhan. The disclaimer doesn't lie. If you liked whatever the fuck this was, drop a like on the video. If you want to see more of this type of shit, join my cult and sub and hit the bell. Okay, bye.